This is a willow system that I put in last year, and you can see, they're quite a bit of new growth. They're good, healthy plants. But what you might not realise is this is actually the second crop. It went in last year. I took the first load of cuttings, big cuttings, off this towards the end of the year, and then it put this on as secondary growth, and this is really healthy, even before spring starts. So it's really ready to go. Now this willow is along the edge of our septic outflow. So there's water trickling in here just from a land drain, but the septic outflow comes out here and trickles on down this trench. Now this trench actually needs a little bit of a dig out and needs a little bit of maintenance. So before I do any of that, I'm going to take more of this type of willow. This is Bowles hybrid. It's a high biomass willow, really fast growing hybrid. And I'm going to reinforce this line of it very heavily from here right the way down. Very, very, very heavy planting indeed. So that then when I come through and I start digging out the ditch below it, all that nutrient rich material I can mound up like I have here just behind these, because it's already dense enough. That's kind of what I'm hoping to achieve, so that then will provide nutrient for this willow and create another surge of growth in the spring. I'll show you what the first load that we harvested from it was like. Now it's a bit difficult to see this late in the year because nothing's got any leaves on, but this is a willow structure that I put in. You can see just how big it is, and then from this corner it's all the way around. So it's a great big square just with a little doorway there and a little doorway here, and positioning that is just below, mind the flare, that is just below the paddy field where the ducks are currently. So we've got a really good nutrient rich seepage from that system down through the land, and we're going to take advantage of that with this willow, and this will be knitted together and woven into a nice dome structure. And this is going to be a mushroom yard, because one thing we're really short of here is shelter from the sun in summer, because we get like 20 hours of sunshine. So yeah, there's a lot of willow gone in, and these actually took even before the season was out, so they're all very viable. And some of these cuttings go down a good 2 feet below surface. So the way I did them was some of them are thicker than my thumb, shoved it down as far as I could, really leant on it, so some of them have gone well below 2 feet, and then cut them off at about a foot high. So they're really well anchored, and there must be a couple of hundred cuttings. And all of that came from that one little system in its first year. And you can see just how many cuttings there are. So you can see just how many cuttings came out of a fairly small little strip of willow. So we're going to reinforce that probably with 5 or 6 times as many as we've already got. So we've got these already doing their thing and established, and then we'll have this new generation of willow going in as well. So we'll have a really good harvest off that, even within its first year. So right, I'm about to lose the light, so I'm going to get as many as I can in today. But yeah, right, let's see how much I can get done. So that's all the willow planted, and you can see just how many there are. There's, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, even 7 or 8 in some cases per running foot, and that's a very, very long trench. So the next step is going to be, because I'm right at the bottom edge of it here, so I'm going to come up, I'm going to dig this really nutrient rich muck from the bottom. I'm going to put that on the uphill side, just so that it will have a certain amount of nutrient trickle down, and it will feed these. So every time it rains, some of that will slowly wash back in and feed them, but it'll also completely clear this trench, because it's getting a little bit silted up. It needs doing now and again. This is more or less the point that the really wet stuff stops. Beyond here it's a little bit drier. So what I'm going to do, instead of just digging the trench out universally all the way down, what I'm creating then is a chute to get nutrient away as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of very low, almost like a check dam, maybe 4 or 5 inches high in a few spots. So we're creating a series of steps down rather than a great big chute. So we want to get the nutrients to slow down and drop its nutrient load and any suspended solids that are coming out of the septic system, so that we can actually harvest that nutrient here rather than having it run away downhill and causing problems off site. So we're going to harvest as much of the nutrient as we possibly can here on site, Of course, this is the unpleasant job. It only needs doing, let me think, I did it last in 2018 and we're now 2023. So, 5 years, it's not bad. So I'm going to come through, dig all that out, put it on the uphill side, and then we'll see what that looks like. And that's that whole system finished. So you can see that the bottom lagoon hasn't had any nutrient yet. We've got the willow here ready to go. I mean, you can see there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cuttings. But there's the first check dam, so hold it just a little bit back. So you can see that will now be feeding into the berm. We're feeding this willow here. And there's another check dam feeding that willow. And so on, all the way up the chain to about there. So I'm not walking through. I'm going to go around and show that. So you can see all the little infiltration pools formed by the check dams up as far as here. And at this point, the gap between that hedge and the track that I'm standing on gets narrow enough that I can't really cut more off the backside to make more of these ponds. And also, because we're getting within a foot or so in elevation of the septic outflow, I didn't want to create any backflow that could cause problems up into the septic. So we've kept that drop all the way down as far as here, and then this is the first infiltration pool. I've got a partially built check dam there, so if I wanted to at any point I could put a bit more in there. Say if it was a particularly bad drought year and the most productive willow looked like it was in danger of dying, I could put a small check down there just to hold a little bit of the nutrient and the water back, just to prioritise this. So I've got that as an option, but I don't anticipate ever using it. But yeah, you can see instead of all that nutrient just running away, it's now being held back, being slowly soaked into the berm, where it will produce huge amounts of biomass. I mean, each of these will produce probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 meters of biomass per year, and then every year that will be cut back and it'll reproduce it. So yeah, it's a hugely productive biomass system. Our house pretty much runs, the heating and the hot water and the cooking soon as well, pretty much runs on small diameter fuels like this biomass willow. And this is a high yielding cultivar. This is Bowles hybrid, and yeah, I'm very pleased with that. That's been, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours of spade work and a few cuttings that I've had from our own willow. And that now is something that, instead of something that was a bit of a pollutant, a bit of an eyesore and a negative, is now a huge asset. This is something that produces, a significant amount of yield on something that previously was just waste. And there's nothing but a few hours with a spade. I'm really pleased with that.